Welcome to the Oddity Shop, where the bizarre is always on sale.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Oddity Shop, the show where we tell you weird, creepy, paranormal, occult tales from around the world. I am one of your two lovely hosts, Zach. I got my name right this week, and I'm sitting here with Kara, who's looking oh so lovely
Hello.
today.
Thanks, liar.
I really wasn't, but okay.
Thank you.
Take a compliment.
I've been up since 5 at a work event. It was a lot. I'm tired, but I'm here for you people.
But most importantly, you're here for me.
I'm here for you. Only because you said we have to record today.
Because you're about to go on a week vacation,
I know.
And we're getting behind.
I know. And you forgot.
Well, yeah,
And I
forgot
it's
every
fine.
time you've told me for the last month.
Even though I sent you my schedule. But it's fine because I also forgot that I was leaving Sunday.
You text me so many times a day that schedule is long lost in our messages.
All right. What's good with you?
Okay, so I was having a good day, mental health wise, everything was great. And then on my lunch break, I was scrolling on TikTok. And when I tell you, I wanted to run to the store to buy guy liner and get in my feelings because Blink 182 dropped a new song today.
This is not where I thought that. I'm like,
I wanted to
I didn't
find,
listen to it yet.
Like my long plaid shorts, a ripped up band t-shirt, and just like get in my feels. It is so
I feel like you need like
good.
a long sleeve like striped shirt under the band tee.
Yes.
Beanie.
Oh my god, dude, lip piercing.
I mean,
so their new song though is One More Time, and it's basically about like how it took Travis getting into a plane crash and Mark getting cancer for the band to come back together. But it's also,
which is so sad. Oh my god, I just got goosebumps everywhere.
Oh, my hair, I was standing straight up when I listened to it because it's like also written like, you know how like their like breakup Take Me Back songs are all written, like it's almost like that, but it's to each other. I'm obsessed with it. It's called One More Time.
That's so fucking cute.
You have to watch the video too, because it like don't even listen to the song without watching the video first, because it does like flashbacks to them in the past, like how they are.
No,
now.
I'll cry
oh
right now.
God,
so
it was so good.
I'll watch it, but I'm not doing it right
now. What's new with you?
Well, what is new with me? Work's working. Like I said, I had a crazy event today. I've been up for a long time, but we're good. I did put up some Halloween stuff yesterday, the day before, just because I'm like, okay, first off, I would have it up all year round. My husband wouldn't allow me. I would also put it up the first day of September, but my husband would prefer I don't. So my compromise was like, well, I have to put some Halloween stuff up because we're going to be gone the last week in September and I need a full month.
Absolutely.
Right? So I did start to do some of my house inside. I didn't do the outside. I'll just do that when I get back. But you know me, I just haven't really been feeling well. So I didn't really I put in a decent amount of effort to my decorations. Yeah, but I guess what? I'm not having a party this year.
Your decent amount though is like what most people's all out is. So
right, I know it's stupid. It's so stupid. And that's really about it.
You got a trip coming up too, right? I feel like we've just been bouncing. I just got back from a trip. I went to Traverse with Nick and had an amazing time. You're about to go on a road trip with your man.
We're kind of road tripping all through all these different places. I think we're going to like Knoxville, staying a couple days. I don't know. My husband kind of planned it all out, but we are ending the last couple of days in Wilmington, which is where one of my best friends bought a house, and I haven't seen him in a while, so we're going to visit him. But if you don't know, I probably haven't talked about it on this episode, but my absolute favorite TV show is One Tree Hill. I will watch it over and over again, all 9 seasons, probably once a year. It is my favorite. It's one of the first gifts that my husband bought me when we started dating, was the whole collection.
Oh my God, I remember that.
Of DVDs. It is literally my favorite thing. And that's where it was filmed, Wilmington.
Oh.
So a lot of the CW shows were like Dawson's Creek and stuff were all filmed there. So I have it kind of mapped out I'm going to spend a whole day going to all of the houses, the bridge, iconic stuff. So if you're a One Tree Hill fan, then if you follow me on my socials, I'll post all this stuff because I'm so excited. I don't know what I'm going to wear though. It's one of those moments where I've been waiting for this for my entire life since like high school to go to all these places. And now I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to wear? These pictures have to be cute. I was even said that I would go alone because you could do like a walking tour. And I said I'd go alone and that my husband and my friend Ferdinand can just like chill by themselves. But my husband was so cute and he goes, well, who's going to take all your pictures?
Oh, he knows you way too well.
Well, no, he just knows it's so important.
Right.
I want to go to all these places. You know me, I'm not really a picture person. For me to be in the picture, I'm not. You know I'm not. Look at my social media. I barely post anything.
I feel like
he's giving me a look and I'm like,
you're more of a picture person than I am. I'll say that. But
well,
I was going to say, look at social media, but over the last year, at least on Facebook, I feel like I post a lot more pictures than I ever have. I'm getting
this
annoying.
Is true, but only because we have to. All right, let's move on. These people don't.
Okay,
care.
Wait. 30-second thing. We should tell everyone else about our other upcoming trip.
Which one?
Do we have more than one? I know we have. Well, we haven't decided if we're going to go to the event yet, but we're going to go to where Mid-Michigan Paracon is. Just so we can go to the What's Up Weirdo event and hang out with some other awesome podcasters and have a few drinks and just have a spooky evening. Do we have another trip?
Well, we might go on that ghost or that investigation, paranormal investigation in November. We might do that. Yeah, so we've got to figure that out. So maybe we'll
our first ever
do that. We don't really
real
know.
Ghost hunt. It might happen, guys.
Well, it's going to happen as long as we kind of got invited to a bunch of these different events. We couldn't go to a lot of them. This was one that they were like, I don't think we're booked. And I shouldn't say booked, but I don't think that we've invited whatever. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. My brain is fried.
They might be at capacity. We're kind of like the possible +1. So fingers crossed.
There you go. So we will go if we can. And yeah, Mid-Michigan Paracon, we're going to go, but we might not go for the whole weekend. We'll probably just go for that one day for the What's Up Weirdo.
Yes. And we're super
That's what we're going for.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Do you have a question for me?
I do. I just burped. So sorry.
That's not really a question. That's a statement, but okay.
Well, I also ate jalapenos today and my nose is like still runny. Sorry. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
This might be a little bit of a, I don't want to say deep question, but do you think pop culture has ruined things?
Yes. I will. Well, certain things, right? Like,
yes and no,
I feel like what comes to mind is that, is it, I'm going to get it so wrong. It's either Iceland or Greenland with the Blue Lagoon, right? That all the influencers are like, oh my God, everyone should go here. And then you try to go there and it's so full of people. Like, people make these things out to be so different than they actually are. And it's like people paint a whole different idea of what something looks like for their clout. And then you like the perception of when you're actually there enjoying it might be diminished because you expected something else.
Yeah, actually, this is just so funny because we're talking about What's Up Weirdo. So I was just listening to one of the episodes I hadn't listened to, and they were talking about how they just went to the Hollywood sign.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And they're like, you don't understand that there are hundreds upon hundreds of people spinning and twirling around and taking these pictures. And if you see a picture with somebody in front of it by themselves, it's because I've used an app to get rid of literally every person. It's not even as whatever. So yes, I also agree. I think pop culture is ruined or changed. Maybe ruin is a little harsh, but it's taken away.
And it's only going to get worse with AI. We talked about that before.
Yikes. Okay. Well, we're talking about the pop culture version of the Conjuring House.
Ooh, baby. I'm ready. I'm
Yeah.
gonna hold my comments to the end on this part of it, and you know why.
Okay, well, you can pipe in, but yes. Okay. The movie The Conjuring really put this house on the map for the most famous haunted, like one of the most famous haunted houses. The movie came out in 2013, which I don't know why I thought it was a lot longer than that, but I think it's because you hear, again, pop culture really crazily went over the Conjuring House with a whole franchise, right? So I think you just think that it was a lot longer.
And in 10 years, they have pumped out so many of the Conjuring universe movies that like...
you can't even, So I'm going to break down everything that movies and paranormal investigators, some not all, tell you about the Conjuring House. Okay. So the opening credit of the movie reads, since the 1960s, Ed and Lorraine Warren have been known as the world's most renowned paranormal investigators. Lorraine is a gifted clairvoyant, while Ed is the only non-ordained demonologist recognized by the Catholic Church. Out of the hundreds of cases throughout their controversial careers, there is one case so malevolent, they've kept it locked away until now, based on a true story. Dun, dun, dun.
Bum, bum, bum. What a dramatic opening sequence.
All right. So that's what we first see. And then we see a family that's clearly like moving into a new home. This family is the Perrins. They consist of Roger and Carolyn and their 5 daughters. Andrea, our bestie. At least we want her to be. Nancy, Christine, Cindy, and April. If you haven't seen this movie, I'm going to give you a rundown. And obviously, I'm spoiling it. So if you do want to stop, go stop, watch it. Thanks, Carlos, because I used your login on whatever it was to watch it. But like I said, it's been out since 2013, so I don't feel bad for spoiling it.
Another Kara movie recap.
Right. Sorry. Right away, when the family enters the new home, their dog won't go in. It's like standing on the porch, won't go in. It's clearly scared and shaking. And I know we've said this before. Always trust your pets.
Always. They see that shit that we don't.
That. Okay.
Rat.
Rat. The youngest child, April, finds a music box by a big tree on the property. So you see her like calling one of the other sisters over, and she's got this like, I found this. It's like, oh my God, kids, no. And it's creepy. It looks like a circus tent, like a pointed, like the top of a point, whatever. You get what I mean, a circus tent. And if you open it, there's a mirror, but the mirror has almost like painted swirls on it, like a swirl pattern. And when you crank it, it's like a music box. The mirror swirl turns and a little clown pops up. So it's already terrifying in itself. The fact that you just found that is also terrifying. And then that's what it looks like. No, I'm good. Okay. Then we kind of cut to the girls. They're in the house, like, parents are moving, and it's, like a typical scene in a movie where they're moving in. The girls are running around the house, picking their bedrooms, doing all this stuff. Then they're playing hide and clap, which I'm like, dang, I like this game. I wish I played it. Basically, one hides. They have their blindfolds on. I'm sorry, one gets blindfolded, and then the other ones run around the house and hide. And you get 3 claps. You get 3 chances to find them.
Yeah, the seeker can make the hiders clap.
Yeah. Thank you. Seeker, hider, whatever. All right. So while playing this game, they're all like girls. They're just like messing around, and they accidentally find a hidden door that turns out to be an entrance to a cellar that they didn't even realize that they had. This hidden door is almost like in a closet. So one of the girls is hiding in there, blah, blah, blah. They figure out there's a secret door. I'm sorry, but if I bought a house, there's a whole ass secret cellar, I'm done.
Here's the thing that gets me about that scene, though, is like, there's no way you look at a house from the outside and can't tell if it's sitting on a foundation or like has a basement. Like, they would have known there was a cellar.
Right. And it's like fully furnished, and no, you just were never told about this. Whatever. It is what it is. Roger explores it a bit, and then they kind of call it a night. They make a comment about it, like jokingly, like, what are we going to do with all this crap down here? Blah, blah, blah. They call it a night. Carolyn wakes up the next morning and she's bruised. And it's kind of like an aggressive bruise, so it's like, what the hell? But, they just moved, so who knows how that happened. The girls say, though, that night that their room smelled like something rotting, but it was only through the night. Like, it wasn't now. Like, when they woke up, they didn't smell it. It was only in the middle of the night. They smelled like a rotting smell. And then all of the clocks seemingly stopped at 3:07 a.m. Like, every clock in the house. The power could have went out, but what about the battery-operated clocks?
Yeah,
come on.
No.
So the worst part of this entire movie for me is that because the dog never came inside, they were like, well, she can just stay outside for the night. Like, she'll be fine. She's on her little leash or whatever, or lead. She's dead.
Oh.
And that's the worst part of the whole entire movie. I'm just going to say it right
100%.
now. To me. What?
100%.
Yeah. All right. So now that kind of happens, and this is where each night things starts to really amp up. So you get your typical, your feet being pulled off the bed, TV static, banging, knocking, doors opening. The window is open one day. Cindy starts sleepwalking. More bruising on Carolyn. Birds just hit the house and just die. Like, it's just all really weird stuff that you maybe wouldn't.
Kind of horror movie tropey, though.
It is. So it's just a lot. I don't know. But I guess if you just bought this house, you would try to just, I don't know. Okay. April, the youngest, doesn't go to school yet. So while she's at home without her sisters, she meets an imaginary friend named Rory. With her little music box that she found, you can see his reflection behind you, which is just like absolutely terrifying to me. More shit happens throughout the night. There's a wardrobe that was actually left in the house that's in Andrea's room, and it opens one night and you just like hear breathing coming from it. more legs being kind of pulled off of the bed. Like nothing like where you're actually pulled out of the bed yet, just pulled off. Creepy. Seeing figures in the room. At one point, like the door slams shut, locking the girls in the bedroom. It's just scary and clearly unsettling. Like who knows what you'd be thinking or doing if you were in this predicament. We've talked about this so many times before. Carolyn is now like covered in bruises though. Like it's so bad that Roger was like, you need to go see a doctor. They think that she has a condition. She's actually taking a prescription for it because she's just like covered in these massive bruises. She experiences like really weird things a lot in the house when she's alone, like laughing kids, even though the kids are at school.
Which is just terrifying.
That part we've talked about just so many freaking times. Ghost kids. They're all creepy. True. And I think that I would burn the whole entire house down. I'd burn it down. I'm not kidding you. I'd burn it the frick down. No. She witnesses all the pictures flying off the wall. And they're kind of like down, like they go down the banister or like the staircase, you know, it goes down the wall of the staircase. So she witnesses all of these just come crashing down and breaking. After she follows the trail of the falling pictures down the stairs, she sees the door to that cellar that's open. And she goes in to see what's going on and she gets locked in the cellar. Why did you go in there?
Right.
Anyway, at this same time in the movie, Cindy starts sleepwalking and she's banging her head on the wardrobe that's in Andrea's room. Like it's really creepy because it's just like she's just like slow banging her head on the wardrobe. It's like the most unsettling shit I've ever seen. So Andrea tries to like comfort her without waking her up and she puts her in her own bed. But then the wardrobe doors like bang open and then Andrea gets attacked. She's on her back screaming and fighting. At this point, the family's kind of over it. This is like where it's like in the movie, they're all like, yeah, we're done. We're over.
Right. And it seems like it's like over the course of like a week too.
Yeah, it wasn't. But so Carolyn then is seen at a lecture. And this brings us the Warrens. Now, I will say that throughout the movie, you do get glimpses of the Warrens, like seemingly like have nothing to do related to this, but I don't really care. So at this point, you see the Warrens. She's asking them like, please, I'm begging you, like, I need your help. So Lorraine says that something awful happened, like when she's in the cellar, she's like, something awful happened here, like, oh my God. And Lorraine also sees a little boy, which is presumably Rory. So she does see that. And she sees a body hanging from the tree. So that tree that like who's the little one? April found that music box, that tree that she's just sitting under with this freaking music box. Yeah. So Lorraine sees a body hanging from that tree.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's really creepy. And they kind of explain that the house itself needs an exorcism. Okay, so they kind of make comments, you know, Roger's like, well, what do you mean? I thought only people could be exorcised or like need exorcisms, like, you know, what's going on? And basically the entity or whatever is in the house is like feeding off of the family. So it's like the whole house just burn it. Like I said, burn it.
No.
So Ed explains that they have to hold an investigation to prove they need the church's help because he can't just give an exorcism. So you need proof. This is where the homework begins. So Lorraine is doing her research and she finds out that Judson Sherman first owned the house and it was built in 1863. He had a wife named Bathsheba. Bathsheba is related to Mary Town Esty, who was an accused of witchcraft in Salem, and she was hung during the trials. Bathsheba and Jed had a baby. When the baby was 7 days old, he found her sacrificing the baby by the fireplace. She then ran outside, ran up the tree, professed her love to Satan, and cursed anyone who tried to take her land, and then hung herself. Her death was pronounced at 3:07.
How dramatic.
I am so thankful that they did not like give a flashback of this, because the thought of a woman like trying to climb up a fucking tree to profess her love to Satan. I'm sorry, but envision a woman trying to just scurry up a fucking tree. I'm so glad that they didn't show that.
Do you think women can't climb trees, Kara?
That's not what I said. Think of somebody climbing a tree. It's just like not graceful.
No. Grab your soapbox and just stand on the front lawn and profess your love to him there.
Right. Another woman that lived in the house in the 30s had a little boy that disappeared in the woods. His name was Rory. After he disappeared, she went in the cellar and killed herself. Because the original land was 200 acres, it was subdivided and sold separate. Those areas also had missing children and suicide. Okay. Now, during the actual investigation in the house, they had a police officer that was there. I can't remember his name. And then some guy that worked with them. His name was Drew, that was on their team. And there's a scene where he's flirting with Andrea, like while he's showing her equipment. And it's weird. And it just, like, I just have to have it in here because it was uncomfortable and seemingly pointless. And it was just really, I don't understand it. I just have to add that in here.
Yeah.
It weirded me out.
That is, I recently rewatched the movie too, and that is such a weird scene.
It has no point. It's fucking creepy. It gives me like, no, I
will say for everyone,
anyway.
I watched it September 1st because that is the true start to spooky season.
There you go. So as they're doing this investigation, Carolyn gets attacked. It's like crazy. When that stops, Cindy is seen sleepwalking again, and you hear her, well, I don't think everybody hears it, but you as the viewer hears Rory helping her hide. He's like, come on, I'll help you hide. So she's just in a sleepwalking trance. She's setting off all of these, like, all this equipment. And they're like, no, people don't set that off. Somebody's with her. So they follow her, and they follow her up the stairs into Andrea's room where that wardrobe is. The door slams shut, and they can't get it open, and it's like all freaking dramatic. And then they get it open, and she's like seemingly missing from this locked room. They use another equipment that shows like, I don't know.
Heat.
Thank you. I'm doing motions. You can't see, but thank you. It uses heat. So Ed is like, oh my God, grab this thing. And so he's looking for like heat to look for like handprints and stuff. And then they see that she's like in the wardrobe, and there's like a panel in the back of the wardrobe that they rip off. How did she get back there without ripping it off? I don't know. They rip it off, and then there's a hole in the wall.
Oh, yeah, they find her, like, in the hole in the wall.
Yeah. And so, according to April, that's because when Rory is afraid, that's where he hides. So he was, like, helping her hide. Cool, whatever. Lorraine goes into this little hole. She finds a noose, and then she falls through the wall, ending up in the cellar. She gets attacked, but while she's getting attacked by the one mother that lost. It's a whole freaking thing. And she realizes that Bathsheba possesses the mothers that live in the house to kill their children, just like she did when she scurried up that tree. Okay,
I'm following.
And this is why she visits Carolyn every night, bruising her while feeding off of her.
What a
I'm not
story.
laughing. It just is. Back in the living room, Nancy gets dragged all around the house by her hair. It's so scary. However, they got this on film, and with that footage, they can go to the church. It's very exciting. So Father Gordon says he's going to try to help, though. He's going to try to get this
just
approved.
try.
Yep.
Good job, Father Gordon.
Right. Lorraine, though, sees a vision of her daughter dying, and so she thinks that this is like an omen. And then that night, her daughter wakes up from getting pulled out of bed.
Her own daughter, right? Not one of the parents.
Her own daughter.
Okay.
Lorraine's daughter. And then she explores these flickering lights because why wouldn't you? She runs back to her room. Banging happens. She sees a lady in her rocking chair holding the Annabelle doll. It's just like wild.
Of course they have to like tie in the Annabelle doll for the cinematics.
Well, because, it was in their museum. So then the door slams shut and it's locked, and like finally they get it open, and as they get it open, the rocking chair goes flying across the room and it almost hits Ed, and it's like a whole thing. And then Lorraine says that this was a warning and they need to finish what they started at the parents, or their daughter's gonna die. It's the whole thing. Anyway, now the parents are kind of staying at a hotel. So Roger is greeted. He comes home to the hotel. He's greeted by the girls. They're frantic that Carolyn left with Christine and April. She didn't say where she was going, and she smelled like rotting meat.
That's a totally normal thing to smell like.
Yep. Now remember, Bathsheba possesses the mother to kill the child. So they go back to the Conjuring House. Inside, they're screaming in the cellar, and she's trying to kill Christine with scissors. Then Carolyn is flying all over the house. It's so crazy. And April gets lost. They get Christine. April gets lost. And now there's a full possession happening. They actually tie her to a chair. They can't get to Father Gordon in time. And remember, he didn't even approve anything, or we don't know. Ed decides he's going to do this exorcism himself. He can do it. It's going to happen. Birds start swarming the house, and they're breaking all the windows. The gun from the police officer starts shooting by itself. They have Carolyn tied up in a chair, like I said, and she has like a cloth or a sheet over her head, and she's all roped on. But the chair starts raising to the ceiling, then it flips upside down. It's like a whole thing.
It's very dramatic. And I always thought like the cloth over the face was maybe a bit much, but it was a way to like save on special effects maybe.
Well, but I appreciate that because
you don't like to see anything.
No, it's not. Here's the thing. I don't like to not see anything. I don't like to see things that are so fucking beyond and they're just made up and it's just stupid,
Fair.
Right?
Enough.
Yes, I can understand your face distorting if you're being possessed and like your voice changing and things like that. I get that. But like this is why I loved the original Paranormal Activity, because you didn't see anything, because you shouldn't. It's a normal haunting. Like you shouldn't see anything.
But people do see things in hauntings.
Yeah. Shadow figures, not fucking creepy ass monsters and stuff.
Fair. Enough,
anyway,
again.
Carolyn, I keep saying Caroline. It's Carolyn. I don't know why I keep doing this. Or maybe I hadn't until just that moment.
Oh, you've done it a couple times, but you've always corrected.
Carolyn. It's like me, Carolyn.
Yeah, it's literally your first and middle name. Come on.
It is. That's why
not
I don't
that
know
difficult.
I think it's because I hate my first and middle name.
Oh my God. Come on, Carolyn. Go on.
Carolyn ends up getting away from the chair because it drops from the ground and it breaks and she gets loose. And then she finds April and she starts attacking her. And then Ed yells, Bathsheba? Which this doesn't make sense to me because the whole entire time he's like, I demand you tell me your name. Hello, you knew it. Anyway, now he says, Bathsheba, by the power of God, I condemned you back to hell. And then emotionally, they all get her back by reminding her of her family and that she loves them, that she pukes, they hug. Ed and Lorraine leave.
What a Disney ending.
I know. Then they get a call. After it's all done, they get a call. The Vatican approved the exorcism. A little fucking too late. Then you get a lovely quote from Ed. Diabolical forces are formidable. These forces are eternal, and they exist today. The fairy tale is true. The devil exists, God exists, and for us, as people, our very destiny hinges upon which one we elect to follow. The end.
Bum, bum, bum.
Okay, so clearly this is wild, right?
But it's based on a true story.
I know, right? Because that's what we're told. It's extremely dark. It's demonic. It's based off of witchcraft and black magic and satanic worship. Now let's go to real life. And by that I mean paranormal investigations. So, obviously I went to my love, Sam and Colby.
I could have put money that we were going to go to them.
All right, well, they do have 2 episodes there. And remember, I talked about this a couple episodes. They still haven't dropped their episode of Staying a Full Week yet. I'm a little bit upset. But I also watched BuzzFeed Unsolved, Overnight. If you don't know the Overnight channel, I don't actually like them, but that's the one that always has Matt Rife, and everyone's been swooning over him.
Yeah, so he's having his moment right now.
First off, he deserves it, and he's actually the only reason that I ever watched the Overnight channel, to be completely honest, and he's only a guest. But anyway, I also watched Twin Paranormal, Seth Borden, Haunted Nights, and Ghost Adventures. All anything that you could think of, I watched.
Like all the big names in the paranormal pop culture.
Yes, everybody has gotten to the Conjuring House. It's like the number one thing.
Paranormal pop culture is almost as hard to say as paranormal postcards.
Yes. All right. I'm not going to go through what each video said. I'm just going to give you a breakdown. And then obviously all the videos are linked so you can watch them. However, in 2019, Corey and Jennifer Heisen bought the Conjuring House and they turned it into an official tourist attraction. Obviously, the movie itself set off an abnormal amount of curiosity, but turning the house into an attraction is just wild, and that drew way more curiosity. Local police actually say that the traffic has increased, like the people showing up by the house, lurking, trespassing, like it was out of control. And I guess it was kind of like out of control before, like after the movie came out, you know, people would lurk, want to take pictures, things like that. But when they actually turned it into an attraction that you technically could pay for and go visit, you know, the lurkers be lurking.
Well, of course, they gotta go experience it for themselves.
I know. Now, I'm not opposed to having places like this be visited. However, I am opposed to it being presented in a certain way, right? Like, there are so many like places that we want to go to, right? All these like haunted houses and things like that you can go and there are attractions, and you're genuinely curious.
Curiosity. Oh, curious.
And you want to go. Curious, or you're curious, whatever.
I was trying to help you with the word. I don't know what word
I know,
you were
thank you.
for.
But as I said prior, the movie portrays a very dark and twisted energy, now adding investigators needing to glorify their experiences for viewers, and we're probably farther from the truth of a based on a real story. Just like the Blair Witch Project, reality was so far from the truth. I will say that most investigations do imply that the movie did change some events for dramatic effect, but some actually say that the real life Conjuring House, like the parents' real life, was actually worse than the movie.
Oh.
So, I don't know. That's what people say. What I will tell you, which is common, is like black masses or mist are a very common thing to see. Apparently there's a male presence in the house that does not like female mediums. There's full body apparitions always seen, growling. It's also said the parents were actually told by previous owners to keep the lights on, and they didn't really know what that meant when they first moved in. Like, keep the lights on. Okay. All right. Bathsheba is a real person. Okay. But she lived down the street from the house in the 1800s. People did start accusing her of being a witch, and it didn't really help that 3 out of her 7 kids died before they were 7. Apparently, while she was babysitting another child, that child died of convulsions. There was apparently a puncture wound found in his head, in his skull, like a very small pin. And obviously she's a witch. So everybody went crazy. And she was actually accused, but she was acquitted of murder.
Oh.
So they did put her on trial, but she was acquitted. The family before the parents had a lot of tragedy. It was the 1800s, so there was a lot going on. But there was apparently a lot of child suicide, attempted murder, death by exposure, death by disease. And there's also reports of seeing like a lady with a crooked neck in the house. Like a lot of investigators say that they say that's so disturbing.
Oh, I wonder if that has any tie-in to...
The hanging?
No, the haunting of Hill House with the bent neck lady.
Oh, I think it does.
Okay. I've never realized those two were crossed. I mean, I'm guessing, but...
Yeah. Well, pop culture, man.
True.
So, EVPs of 7 bodies being buried in the walls led to the ground being, like, tested, or, like, whatever the term is. Like, they kind of did... I don't know what it's called. And they did show, like, I think it was, like, 5 potential graves. And they kind of put this back to rumors of soldiers that are being seen around the house, and that could be their graves. So there's a lot of EVPs about bodies being buried in the walls, soldiers, like this is a lot of common things that they get. And there is a little boy seen a lot, and he's been captured on different equipment as well. And so they kind of think that could be tied back to one of these children that maybe had a tragedy on the property, things like that. Obviously, you get your normal, everybody's equipment dies, drains, there's, voices being heard. Listen, I don't have to tell you what happens on these investigations because they're all the same on everything that you watch. They do get a lot of intelligent responses, and they're, many investigators like have full conversations with whatever this entity is or entities, and they are intelligent responses on a lot of the equipment. What I find is really wild is that Ed's name actually comes up a lot in spirit box investigations, which I think is kind of cool because I don't know if Ed's, like, is that a common? I don't know. It's kind of common, but.
Yeah, but it has such a strong tie because the Warrens were actually there, even though there's a lot of exaggeration to the movie.
Correct. They were there.
Baseline plot is if you strip away everything but like the skeleton of the plot, sure.
Yeah, and they weren't the first ones there. They just anyway. The bent neck spirit thing was actually, it's so creepy. It's a little picture, a little kid's drawing on the basement wall of the bent neck lady that he saw. I don't know why there was a child there, but he drew on the basement wall what he saw, and it's just like a bent neck lady. It's really creepy. It's also been on many like investigations told that Bathsheba is buried on the property, or it's rumored to be. Obviously, devices malfunction. Anomalies are often seen on equipment. It's definitely a place that gives a lot of activity. There's no doubt about that. But, and we've talked about this a lot, I'm not going to name names we can't figure out. There's a lot of investigators, and it's not just this house. It is so dramatic. It is so amped up. It is so like over the top where it's like, it's the most extreme pieces all just pieced together.
It's
right?
like they've taken the big parts from the movie and the big parts that they've been told and started to concoct their own stories.
And they concoct their own. And that's where I'm like, okay, so is pop culture ruining these types of things, right? Because you're going in watching the movie and knowing what the movie tells you because it's based on a true story. But people don't see the base part. They say true story. They read the true story part. This is the true story of what happened. You go in with those thought forms, right? You go in with that. Like, anything you get investigation wise, you're going to play off of what you just saw in that movie.
So you're not going in with an unbiased mind. You're going in.
Correct.
It's like the absolute wrong way to do science, where you're trying to fit the evidence back to your preconceived notion rather than let the evidence speak for itself.
Yes. So, like I said, it is definitely a place of a lot of activity. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I don't think there's a doubt about it being haunted. So between the movie and the rumors, plus the theatrics of those who visit, has pop culture changed what this house really was?
You already know my answer. I'm gonna say yes, it did.
Yeah.
I've had the chance a couple times, and you this year the first time, were able to see Andrea herself, who grew up in the house, as well as other, I would say, really respected paranormal investigators who, okay, we love our YouTubers, right? But we know that a lot of them are for the entertainment aspect.
And they have to be.
Absolutely. That's how they make their living off of it, right?
And it's just like movies.
Right. But there's others out there who are doing very similar work, who come from a place of, for lack of a better word, like a different respect for the properties and for the people who have gone through things there, right? Who are really diving in to tell the true story of these locations. You take something that's become vastly popular over pop culture over the last, 2013 to now, 10 years. You add in all the theatrics of the investigations that have gone in there, and now the idea that people have in their mind of this house is probably completely different to what the Conjuring House actually is.
Right. And I think that even if you haven't seen any of the franchise, the universe, if you haven't even watched an episode of any type of investigation, if you heard the Conjuring House, you do know what it is.
Oh, yeah. You probably have that image in your mind of the tree in the backyard.
Exactly. So yeah, I think I agree with you, obviously. Between being overwhelmed with the business and health issues, the Heisens sold the property in May 2022. So they bought it in 19, they sold it in 2022. I will say, I have obviously no real thought because I don't know these people, but I will say I think they might have been over their head when they thought that they were going to buy this property and they were going to, I don't want to say profit off it. I think they really were interested in this. And I think that they really thought it would be an awesome thing. And they paid a lot of money for it. It's not like this was cheap, right? And I've even read quotes where Andrea is like, if I could afford it, I would be buying that farmhouse and it would be mine. I would be taking.
I'm glad you said that because I've always been shocked that she doesn't actually own it.
Right. Me too. So anyway, if you watch some videos, you can obviously concoct your own opinion. But I think Corey comes off a little cocky, a little whatever other word you want to describe. And I think that, you know, at first, like the first couple of things that I've watched, like he was like, yeah, we were here for like 4 months or something like that before we moved into the rest of the house. We let them kind of do their thing, the spirits, whatever. I don't know. I don't like his vibe. I know that sounds so stupid. I don't like his attitude towards it. Yeah, you have to sign crazy waivers and things like that, which I guess is understandable. But to me, when you're going to a house like that or whatever you want to call it, a paranormal, historic, whatever, yes, things could happen to you and you know you're inviting that stuff in. So maybe because it is a place that you have to pay, it's a business, essentially, you're going to have to sign a waiver. However, my thought is, what are you allowing people to do in this home? And I know things can just go awry without you provoking. You just have to watch him. The attitude that he gives off is just like, yeah, fuck with them. Do this to get them riled up. Like, it's like, no, I don't know.
The thing to keep in mind is in most of these houses, right, there's probably a lot of evil, but a lot of what you're experiencing were people who are alive, and it should be treated with some level of respect to the spirits instead of how can we go in there and provoke.
Yes. And I again, I don't actually know, but this is the vibe and you can kind of watch it for yourself. And that's just kind of what I think. So like I said, they were the only ones that had owned this property when it was an attraction. They didn't own it for that long, and they did just sell it in May of 2022. I think that's for the best. But Zachary, can you tell our lovely listeners why I did the pop culture version of the Conjuring House?
Yes. So Kat's coming out of the bag now. We did a little pre-planning on this one, but let me go back a little bit. I think in the year that you and I have been doing this, we have completely changed our perspectives on haunting, spirits, ghosts, and everything else, right? Like we were very much those subscribe to everything you hear on pop culture. Not to the level of, I'm just going to say it, Zach Baggins and Ghost Adventures.
I was just going to say, you can say it.
Where everything's a demon. But we've gone through this learning journey, right? And I think after you got to hear Andrea speak for your first time, my second time, it was one of those things where we had this moment of, wow, what you see presented on TV or in the movies is not the true story of what these homes actually are.
It sounds dumb to say that, right? Because it's like, yeah, we know, but like, you don't know.
What we want to present to you, which you're going to have to wait a whole week for, is kind of more of the true story of what the parents actually experienced in the home, as well as some probably better research, better equipped investigators who have spent tons and tons of time at the home.
Well, and it's their research. It's not just a
entertainment factor.
Exactly. It's not entertaining somebody. It's not for views. It's to research and to understand and to really like hone in on what we don't understand right now. And it's, yeah.
So next week, Kara and I'll be telling the story. Kara will be chiming in, but we're gonna be telling you kind of the more accurate story of the past of the Conjuring House. Yes. And what some of the I don't even want to say investigators, I want to say the researchers, right, who are documenting it.
And the family.
Like what is actually being experienced in this place that is actually, I think, less evil and just incredible.
Yes. And I just have to mention that we met Andrea and she kissed Zach.
She did.
Multiple times.
So I'm basically in her inner
There's
circle.
that.
No, so I kind of want to leave you on a little cliffhanger.
Huh?
The way Andrea talks about this house is like it is the Taj Mahal, right? I mean, she gets brought to tears and
with a glow in her face.
And how she describes it is a portal through the veil, cleverly disguised as a farmhouse,
which is beautiful.
So we're really excited. We're going to make you wait a few days, but we're really excited to get into some of what the Conjuring House actually is.
This is kind of a side note, but while doing this and rewatching or watching The Conjuring and all this stuff, I had, and I still can't get over this. We met so many people. I still can't believe, or I don't know. I can't get over the fact that we met and talked to a demonologist. I don't know why. I think that is so, I don't know. I love it.
You loved him. He was great though.
He was great. And that's the wildest thing I can ever say is I met a demonologist. So there's that. And Andrea Perrin. What the fuck? What is our lives?
It's getting weirder by the day. But yeah, no, we're really excited to bring you that story. That's kind of our focus for this whole month has been obviously some of our experiences, but we want to tell true experiences of the creepy things that happen. And we're staying ghost heavy this month. We're staying spirit heavy.
Yes, we are.
But stay tuned.
Obviously, I still love my wonderful Sam and Colby. I know that they amp it up, theatrics. I just had to put that out there. So, I love you, Sam and Colby.
And to finalize, we're going to tease one more time of Kara teased it a little bit back about something coming that we aren't able to talk about, but I'm going to give a little bit more details.
Okay.
We're going to have a very special episode on Halloween where we're interviewing our first guest, and it's going to be insane. That's it. That's all you get.
Oh, okay. It's going to be insane.
It's going to be insane. See, now we're doing it for the views.
Oh, Lord. Pop culture,
baby. All right. Kara, what else do you have for us? Anything before we do the usual lead out?
That was that. And
all right. Well, my plug will be two things.
This is Halloween.
This is Halloween month, but not Halloween day.
Yeah.
Keep on writing in the stories, please, guys. We are so close to a second bonus episode for you. Well, we've had a few bonus episodes. A second paranormal postcard for you all.
Postcard.
And we haven't asked in a while, but we would love, if you've been enjoying the show, drop us a review on Spotify or Amazon or even on our Facebook. They really, really do help us get out to more people, and we would appreciate hearing your words.
And, talk to us on social media. Share us your funny jokes. We've been getting some spooky jokes. Share whatever. I don't even care.
Share
At
anything.
This point, share anything that you think that we would like. Share it all. Talk to us. It's fun. All the things. Thank you. We appreciate you. We love you.
Tell Kara she's pretty.
But most importantly, creep it really, oddballs.
Goodbye.
Bye.